Hi, I'm Harrison, and this is the How to Survive Life in a Quarantine podcast. Today, I'm here with Ellie, and she is going to talk to me a little bit, and we're just gonna have a good time. Okay, so if you could just tell us, who you play and what section of the show you're in and your name. I mean, I just said it, but that would be great.
Yeah, so I am in section 7, which is get really involved in Elijah Scrolls outside your window. I play Nima in the show, which is super exciting and fun. Yeah,
Could you tell us like just a little tidbit about your character?
yeah. So my character, she's kind of like losing her mind over quarantine. So she kind of talks to the wildlife, meaning the squirrels, and she kind of creates her own story that with what's happening with the squirrels, just to kind of keep her occupied during quarantine and being in the house. So
Okay. Um, Pretty cool. Um, okay. So, um, give me just a minute. Okay. So, um, do you have like a favorite like section or like a section you relate to the most from the show or anything like that?
ooh, I think the show in general is really fun. So, I mean, there is a few things to relate with, like going crazy over quarantine and not really knowing what to do with your life. But I really like my character in the section I'm in because Nima is kind of like extroverted but introverted at the same time. And that's kind of me. So I get to really connect with her on a different level. So it's nice. I like it.
Yeah, she sounds like a lot of fun. Um, okay, so like, do you just want to like go like deeper into like, cause I know that like within the whole like going insane of your character, I know that she talks a little bit about the Kardashians and how she like compares the squirrels' relationship to theirs. So could you just like do a little explanation on like, I don't know, just your monologue and like how it goes?
Yeah, honestly, have no explanation why we're incorporating the Kardashians. But our queen here, Nima, she, I think it's a way of giving each squirrel a name to help her keep track of everything. And it also like causes herself to like experience drama that doesn't really exist. Um, but it's really her talking about this squirrel couple in a way, I guess, which is Kim and Kanye. And it's really dramatic when this new squirrel Stanley appears and he's all like really cool looking. And we like love Stanley at the same time, but like it's already. and I don't want to spoil anything. So that's really what she's talking about is Kim and Kanye's relationship and the debacles and the journey they have each day that she journals with. So
Okay. That's pretty cool. Um, so I know that like with this show, we were all, well, everyone we thought we were gonna, because this is our eighth grade play now. Um, do you just like, here's a fun little broad question. Like how is this like different or like have you had any fun experiences differently with this being on Zoom? Because I know it's a really weird way to do it. So if you have any like tips or tricks or literally anything that you want to talk about that.
it was super, honestly, it was really interesting. Yeah, I think we were all pretty bummed in my class to not be able to do the musical. But, to give the benefit of the doubt that we at least got to do something. And this is kind of our first real play that we've done. Because in sixth and seventh, we didn't really get to do much plays. And so I think really taking advantage of the things you get to do that other people can't do right now because of COVID. And like just having fun with every little thing because we are in art school and everything's art to us. So I just think really incorporating all those funny quirks and just making those crazy memories to know and look back on like the crazy times that was happening. So
Yeah. Um, yeah, it's been pretty weird. Um, but we're doing it. We're making it happen. Um, I think it's been pretty wacky. Um, but here's okay, now going more into like your character, like Nima. I two things. One, I always think it's really fun when you're doing a show to sort of like, especially with this show because we don't really have we don't really get to interact with like other people, and it's sort of just like our character, like in their own little world, and because it is like a show about kids doing a show on Zoom, like for like their fellow classmates. Are there okay, I'll like just ask you a bunch of questions about Nima, but like I think it's always fun to like even do like a simple little like unwritten backstory. Are you just Nima? Like is that your one character?
no, I am actually as well Marvin, who is I think he plays poker, something like that. He's part
Okay,
of this.
Marvin.
He's part of the board game thing. He's really chill. I like him a
Go
lot.
Marvin. Okay.
Yeah.
Love that for
That is
him.
my second character.
Okay. But so like here's the first question. Do you think that like you would be friends with Nima, or do you think like you and Nima, like if you knew Nima, do you guys think you would get along? Or would you guys like not like each other?
Um, I think so. Since me and Mima are kind of the same people, it could be like either we could get along really well or we could just clash and it could just be a total bombshell. But honestly, I would take that chance because I feel like we'd be pretty crazy together. Um, and I think we'd have a lot of crazy imagination together, which honestly would be a pretty fun friendship. So, sure,
Yeah,
yes.
he seems like a pretty cool gal. But like, okay, overall, I know that like a little spoiler about the what's been happening behind the scenes. I know that we've been working a lot with like just like these little fun elements that we can add into the show around that, like where they go to school and like stuff like that. So okay, here's a fun little question. Do you have like an unwritten backstory or like some things about Nima that you like feel like you that aren't said, but like you think Nima would or even Marvin a little bit, but like you think like who would Nima be friends with, or like what would Nima's hobbies be when she's not watching squirrels, Kardashian squirrels. But yeah.
I think okay, I have thought about this. So I feel like at our school, Nima would definitely be some BA major, but I think she'd be a crazy theater major. Um, in case it depends how Nima comes out, you know. And I think honestly, she's the girl who during quarantine she didn't change her clothes once. I think she really got really lazy and she started collecting random items. And that's where I kind of like go with her. So that like over quarantine, I kind of like collected just some random things, and I feel like she would honestly do the same thing. I think she's just really chill in general, but once you get to know her, she's really spunky and like
Funky, I
really
like that
fun.
word.
um, she, I don't know how to say it, but Nima can just, she can be a gal. Like, I feel like you could take her in doses. Like, she's a girl. Like, um, she might be just really in love with all her sweatshirts. I feel like she has a good ton of them. Um, and I don't know. She's a spunky gal. And
Okay,
that's
so
really
Nima's
fun.
like the type of person to have like the 7 cups on the nightstand
Yes.
and
Yes.
like room a mess in her hoodie, just chilling.
Yep.
Okay, okay, Nima. Yeah, so I that's always just really fun for me to like have a little tidbit of that, just like to sort of, especially when like I know sadly we really can't interact when we're acting as much. But like especially with your relationships with other people, I think that can always be really fun. Um, but yeah, this is a really fun show. It's a lot, but it's a really, really fun show. Um, Okay, now moving on to like you in quarantine. I'll go into more depth, but like overall, how has your quarantine been? Like, oh my God, it's been a year now. We've hit the year mark. But yeah.
Um, I don't know. My quarantine has been full of ups and downs, to be quite honest. I think probably for everyone, there's been a lot of downfalls and a lot of positives, and just people in general in the world. I think we've really took a turn today in society, and just how we're letting people use their voices. And I don't know, it's just been really like an eye opener during quarantine, and to just really see how people are and get to know who the real ones are. To me, I feel like it really opened my eyes to see like who I'm really close to, and like who really cares about me. And I think that's really important, because I want to have every friendship and keep those friendships for such a long time, and to just cherish those is really important to me. And I don't know, being with family, it's been really crazy, because my sister's in college, and we're all at home as well, so she wasn't able to go. But just getting used to like being in the house 24/7 with your family is kind of a learning experience, especially when we get to see each other grow as people, and see my sister becoming really an adult, and me getting older. And it's a lot to take in, but a lot of good things come out of it. So
Yeah. I have two little sisters, two 7-year-old little sisters who are twins. So that's been definitely a journey, to say the least. Um, But like just going off more of like the quarantine vibe, I know that at the very beginning of quarantine, like last March, um, a lot of people were insanely bored, and also I feel like we've gotten more used to it by now, just like in general. But I feel like there was like a bunch of like everyone was picking up hobbies and everyone was like taking their dogs on walks. Gooby, but taking their that's Ellie's dog's name. But everyone was like taking their dogs on walks 5 times a day. So like, did you have any like quarantine hobbies you picked up, or like activities that were fun for you that like kept you busy during quarantine?
yeah, so I actually, okay, it's kind of weird. I started collecting Hot Wheels. We won't talk about that stage. I did kind of get into more makeup, like cosmetology stuff, because it's important for me to keep my face clean, and I just am all about that. So I really grew with that. And I don't know, I really grew a hobby of online shopping, which is not the best. But honestly, I'm not so big of a reader, and I like to watch things, so I definitely was hobbying that inner Netflix in me, and I made a lot of jewelry. That's pretty much it, I think.
Any TV show suggestions? Any binging
Office.
suggestions? The Office.
um,
I
the
haven't
Office.
seen it yet, and I feel so bad. I know.
America's Next Top Model is really the recent show I've been on.
Mm.
Um, I don't know. I've been watching the little column on Netflix where it's like children and family movies. I've watched I'm like on the roll watching every single movie in that column. So it happened like 2 days ago, and I'm halfway done. So that's a good thing if you want to take that.
Yeah,
The
or
whole
like
Tinkerbell
Disney
series.
Plus
If
too.
you want Disney Plus, every Tinkerbell movie in order. They're
I
like
love the
hour
Tinkerbell
and 15
movies.
minutes long. Yeah,
I
they're like
love
an hour and 15
Tinkerbell
minutes. You
movies.
could go through them in one day. So
Ugh, they're
the
so
Marcy Crush,
good.
please.
Um, I'm getting so sidetracked. No, but like, yeah, so I know, I feel like everyone went through a really huge binging fan. I feel like no one's gone through quarantine without binging like at least like five shows or like movie
Absolutely.
series.
Yeah.
Like even my parents, like they don't watch TV like ever, and they've started binging shows, and they're like, "Oh my God, I just finished this Netflix show,
To
watched
the
it."
point where they start watching shows without us. So, I mean,
Yeah.
hmm.
See, I do that. I do. I like my mom and I will sit down and watch a show, and then we'll come back like later, and we would both have like watched like seven more episodes without each other. But like, yeah, I it's been a thing. But yeah,
Absolutely.
I mean, whatever can get you through quarantine. It's been a rough time. Um, but yeah. Uh, so I mean, I guess this show was very nice, like to still be able to do this. And I know we're gonna be able to do eighth grade directed scenes. So just like the little things, I guess, that like especially this being with our friends and like getting to do this has been a real lifesaver for me. But
Yeah, for sure.
yeah. So I mean that's all the questions I have for you. But like if you wanna like
Okay.
elaborate on anything or just like say peace out. Oh wait. Should the our show is the last week of April. I'm probably gonna remind you this in like every episode I record. But like our show is the last week of April. So tune in on Zoom
Yes,
for our
please.
show, 10 Ways to Survive Life in Quarantine. In not quarantine.
Yay.
It'll
I'm
be
so
such a fun one.
excited.
I so would suggest. Um,
I'm so excited.
Look
If you
out
want
for
to know
Nima, the squirrel
yeah.
lady. She's pretty cool. And yeah, so thank you guys for tuning in this week because
Thank
it'll be
you
like,
for
oh,
having
when
me.
you guys see it, it'll be later. But yeah, and
Thank
that's
you for having me.
no
I'm so
problem.
excited.
It's
Makes me so happy.
thank you for letting me interview you.
Of
Um,
course.
but yeah, so bye guys. Tune in next week and peace.